You should watch this movie, Shawnee.
But why, Nathy?
Are you asking me why should I watch? You are listening to Why Should I Watch, the podcast about movies and ideas. Hello, Shawnee.
Hello, Nathaniel. How are we?
That's not my name. It's not on my birth certificate as Nathaniel.
How have you been?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. How's your week been? What have you been up to?
Quite chaotic. I've got a wedding coming up.
Oh, good. In 2019.
In 2019.
I was going to ask what year, but it's just that absurd.
Well, yeah, you've already spoiled the surprise. It's essentially we're doing our suit fittings and the prep for it 2 years before the actual wedding.
Yeah.
Where any of us could lose weight, I could gain muscle, I could lose my leg.
Yeah.
Like anything.
You could lose a leg, yeah.
I
Then
could
you'd
lose
only
a
need
leg.
one pants leg. So you paid twice.
Quarter the price. And anything could happen in that time.
Yeah.
So we're putting all our cards out.
Yeah.
Everything's being organised. But we don't know for certain, whether the wedding's going through or not.
Do you think they might call it off?
I don't think they'll call it off.
I mean, we have had a history of called off weddings.
But
in our friendship group.
one or two at this point, which is pretty bad for 25.
You mean 25 as an age, not as 25 people.
Yeah, as an age. We don't know 25 people. So there's still the whole of 2018, which could go anywhere.
Yeah, it's a whole fresh year.
And
the last few years haven't been great.
We're putting deposits down. We're putting suits on, and it's like...
How much is a suit going to cost you?
No comment.
Okay.
I don't actually know the final price.
Can people send money to the Patreon?
I don't know. Help me pay for this.
If you want to donate to Shaun, we will give you PayPal details.
Thank you.
Just send us a message.
Thank
Watch
you.
at skinnywhiteboy.com, the email address.
Thank you.
You can send Shaun money.
So that's my life at the
Or
moment.
just send him your thoughts and prayers, because that seems to do well.
Yeah, uncertainty. Keeps me up at night. And yeah, that's my week in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's good.
I was going to go out last night, but I wasn't feeling up for... that I think a lot of people feel like this, but...
I'm sure they do. Tell us.
And you get to that certain age where the appeal of going out to a suburban nightclub just isn't the same as it used to be, and it's harder to suppress certain feelings, and kind of like if you're feeling like you might be in a bad mood. But when I was 18 or 20, it's easier to like suppress them and go out and have fun.
Yeah,
but now it's like I know the damage.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, I'll just go out and then I'll feel better because I'm out.
Yeah.
But whereas now it's like, I'm not
like, I know I won't feel better, and
I
need to drink
your own moods,
and I don't want to drink and
spend money because you're trying to save for a house.
Yeah, well, save for a lot of things, but
exactly.
At the same time, I've started. This is the Nathan Ogilvy theory,
oh wow, just say my whole name.
Which I have. No, that's not your last name, you goose. His last name starts with a J. Good luck finding him. Your theory is that if there's no point in having 1 or 2 drinks going out, because it's a waste of money, because the effect of alcohol is to get drunk.
Usually.
So when you have one beer and you pay $10 for it, it's not going anywhere.
No.
It's not hitting you. So your rule is that if you go out and drink, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It's the full effect. You get your money's worth, then you don't drink for like maybe a fortnight, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've got like gaps of a month now usually, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like get really drunk one night. Because it ruins your whole day the next day. That's the thing. Like we could have gone out last night, but then we'd be like so tired today that we wouldn't feel like doing all the stuff we have to do.
And this the priority is the pod.
Yeah,
so maybe we're just getting mature.
We're mature. Maybe we're growing up.
Maybe this is this is the boys growing up.
Speaking of artistic maturity, let's talk about the Disaster Artist.
Oh, nice segue.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like if we talk for longer than 5 minutes in our pre-chat.
Yeah, well, we're getting into a deep discussion here.
This is going to be a big one. So,
give us a little bit of history on The Room.
Well, we've actually got a podcast episode on it. So have you already forgotten that we did that?
No. Well, no. I mean, like, let's ignore that.
Oh wow, ignore the whole thing.
How we came to terms with The Room and how it's affected our lives. And because you've read the book.
Well, I will refer you to episode 18, which is I think it's episode 18 or 13.
Yeah. So you don't even remember.
No, I think I'm like 20% sure it's episode 18.
I remember watching The Room.
Okay.
It was with a group of friends, about four 4 or so years ago, and you have to watch The Room with a group of friends.
Oh yeah, if you watch it alone, you will.
You are a psychopath.
Yeah,
if
you will.
If you
it's
watch
like
it alone.
it's like you will get sucked into a void.
Yeah,
a black hole.
It's insane.
You'll probably never come out alive.
And obviously, it was funny. We loved it. We were.
Was I in that group, or did you watch it once before me? Because I remember we watched it a few years ago. I think we watched it in 2014.
I watched it when you were with a certain.
Why do we keep going?
This is.
We can never get through it. But that was the first time you watched it when we were at your house?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. That was my first full experience.
Oh well, there you go. We watched it together for the first time, along with a couple of other friends, and dumbfounded, confused.
Yeah.
It was just like it's like watching like a really fast moving plane fly over you, and you're like, whoa, what was that? And you're like, you know what it is, but at the same time, you're like, I don't really know what that is. I feel a little bit threatened.
Yeah.
And a little bit shocked. And that's what I took away from The Room, and I didn't go back to it for a while. I've only watched little.
I think you can only watch it yearly, like maximum. Like even that's probably too much.
I don't think even I could do that. I watch clips on YouTube.
Yeah,
the funny parts.
Oh yeah, there's a great one. I think if you just type in The Room or best of The Room, there's a great like 9-minute clip.
Yeah, there
you go. It gives you the best scenes. It's like the flower shop
literally,
scene.
If you want to watch it alone,
tearing me apart. Yeah,
watch it like that.
Yeah, you don't want to watch the full 90 minutes because it will.
There's parts that drag.
I don't even think it's 90 minutes. You didn't even get a full 90-minute film out of it.
God knows what it is.
Because all it basically is at its essence is a love triangle where Johnny is the all-American guy who loves Lisa, his future wife, not his fiance. And his best friend Mark is actually banging her behind his back, and he ends up finding out.
Yeah, and in the middle of that is
by overhearing it and then tape recording it.
Things about breast cancer, drug deals, breast cancer, money loans.
Yep. Promotion. He had a promotion.
I can't even There's
at the bank.
So many little random snippets of things that
lead
nowhere.
There's 100 plot threads, I think, that just
they have nothing.
It's sort of like the Melbourne rail system. There's so many broken lines and nothing actually connects.
There you go. There's one circle that goes around and that's it.
It's like, how do I get to Rowville? What, I got to take 2 buses and a tram?
It's like a really, really long episode of
Melbourne joke.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Yes.
Or Daylight Savings.
It's like a really bad soap opera.
What was that song? That show?
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
You said Daylight Savings?
I said Daylight Savings. And
only Shaun.
So that's a half an hour, and what he's done is expanded that to 90 minutes.
Yeah. So then basically,
it's just awful.
So then basically what happened, I think it had a few screenings. It was like it went for a couple of weeks, and then it sort of just went dormant a bit, and then it started getting a few like comedy nerds started they discovered it and started playing it on college campuses and stuff. And then it started gaining traction.
Yeah.
Then it got a few write-ups in like some online mags and stuff. And then it started really like picking up and being shown monthly in like cinemas all over the world, like London.
Yeah, well, it has
big in Australia.
Sold out midnight screenings.
Yeah, and Tommy
then
Tommy and Greg. So Tommy Wiseau is a director, writer, producer, and actor.
And everything. He is literally everything.
He's the holy trinity of
funded it,
of creating. Yeah,
wrote it.
It's fully his project. And then Greg Sestero, who played Mark, and then became sort of like the line producer, doing all the legwork for the film.
Yeah.
Then he sort of wrote. So he wrote a book about it called The Disaster Artist.
Yes, in 2013.
It came out. Yeah, I think it came out in 2013. Yeah,
but he'd been writing it for several years.
Yeah. It was quite a long writing process, and
it would be
about his experiences on it because he was sort of an upcoming actor, and I think we did talk about this on the Disaster Artist future review as well.
Yes.
So you can listen to that.
We went through the book a little bit more.
We did go through a bit of that. So then, what ended up happening was James Franco actually discovered the book and read it, and then he watched The Room. He did it the wrong way around and was like, I think he told Seth Rogen, we need the rights to this and we need to make it into a film. So Seth Rogen's company bought it, and then
awesome.
And then they expanded on it and basically turned it into a film. And I think because I actually remember seeing, it was just because we've been like looking at a lot of reviews and stuff for this episode.
Yeah.
And I actually saw something about, there was an interview or something, and it was 2015 and they were talking about filming it. So I think it's been like a solid like 2 or 3 year process for this film to get made. Because James Franco, if you look at his filmography, he's doing like 40 films a year over the last few years.
Yeah, he's done
40
heaps.
a year. And he's in like he's in like The Juice. He was in the film about Kennedy based on the Stephen King, like 11/23/65.
Okay, yeah, never.
It was like the date that John Kennedy got assassinated, and he was in like that. So he's been in like TV shows. He's been directing films, doing a lot of art projects. I think he's got his masters as well or something, and he's been like teaching. So he's just been doing so much stuff. So I think in all of his spare time, he was working on The Disaster Artist, and so I think it's released now. I don't know because its release dates are really scattered.
I believe it releases next week.
Yeah, well, remember when you say next week, our release of this episode is different to when we record.
That's true. So
I could explain this to Shaun. This is not a live broadcast.
By the time,
the 7th of December, I think.
I was going to say by the time this probably goes up,
I think it will be released when you listen.
But
to this.
we saw it early. We saw it about 2 weeks earlier.
Yes.
At Cinema Nova.
Yes.
Beautiful place. And Greg Sestero was there, live in person.
I went to reach for a drink that I don't have,
and he did a little bit of Q&A, bit of storytelling.
Yep.
We got your book signed.
Yes, I have a copy, and he signed it.
We got to meet him, shook his hand, and he was really, really nice guy, really down to earth. I mean, I've met a few people at like conventions, and it's really nerve-wracking meeting these people.
You never know what their personality and mood is going to be like.
Greg was like really chilled.
Yeah,
and
super chilled. Like
just meeting like a friend. Like
I think we're going to put the photo of us with him up.
Yeah, we can do that.
He just doesn't smile. It's beautiful.
No, and I think he's just cruising along with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, he loves his life.
He loves it. He's just like, yeah, good to meet you.
I was
he loves
like,
the fans.
The thing is, work in my job at undisclosed location. I worked with a lot of I met a lot of like, I wouldn't say super famous. I guess like comedians like met George Costanza, like Jason Alexander and Brad Garrett and stuff.
Yep.
And like they get quoted day in day out, like their quotes. You know, they get like their lives are just the main character. Like people know them as their character a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so I know like they can get not bothered, but like they've heard it all before.
Yeah.
So I just asked Greg. I was like, thanks for doing this after all these years and stuff. And basically what he just said was like, he's like, I got to keep making the money, So he's just
really?
like, it's just income for them, really. When it comes down to it, they're just making.
It's wholesome though. Like they're not overselling it. They're not.
No, and
it's just they're just supporting it still.
Yeah, I think he comes to Melbourne
but he's
like once every 2 or 3 years, because I think he said last time he was here was 2012. It was before The Disaster Artist was released.
Yes.
So that was 5 years ago, and I think Tommy came in 2013 or 14
for the Room.
Yeah, well, Cinema Nova shows the Room monthly still.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
and that's
some
the
big event happened. On there, I don't remember. It might have been like the 10th anniversary of the Room. Maybe they might have had a special showing.
Yeah, well, that would be 2013,
Tommy.
So possibly.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get on to the film. So we then went in and we watched the film.
Oh my gosh! First impressions, go.
I think it's one of the best films of the year. Like it would be in my top 5 easily. Agreed. I loved it.
Rare. This is a rare moment where we actually agree. This could be a hard podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Because I was laughing every couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, it's such a well-made film, and I think a lot of the reviews commenting are like. I try not to do like a review show. This is more like a, why I guess that's a review why you should watch. Yeah. But I think the interesting thing was I'd be interested to see someone that watched the film who didn't know any of the backstory of The Room or The Disaster Artist and just watched it as a film on its own. I think then it might be a bit like you're sort of falling behind a bit, because basically what the story is, they cut a lot of Greg's. So the book was written by Greg and it had a lot of his backstory about coming, because he lived in San Francisco and he came over to LA to be an actor.
Yeah.
And he lived at Tommy's apartment. And he sort of struggled a lot because he put he got the Iris Burton agency, which was like a huge agency back in the late 90s that represented Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix and a whole bunch of famous people back then. And they kept putting him out for a lot of stuff, and he did Lord of the Rings audition.
Yeah. And that in the movie it goes a little bit like that through that kind of.
Yeah, but it breezes over it more. It makes it more about Tommy and
the actual
Greg's
creation of the film. In the book, it's very much
you get a
lot more Greg's backstory.
Yeah,
which I liked more.
Yeah. So what I think. But I think that was for the better, the film, because the film's only the 90 minutes. So it's always, you can never capture a full book into a film. So a lot of the stuff they cut was the Greg sort of story. So most of it was there was a lot more Franco in it as Tommy.
Which is fine. But that's just to please the fans. The fans want to see.
Yeah, well he gave them what they wanted. And I think James Franco should be Oscar nominated for it, I think. Cause,
it was insane watching him.
Yeah, because before going in, there's so many videos online now of him doing the impersonation, and you're like, yeah, that's that's pretty spot on. But to have him do it for a full film, and apparently because he directed it as well and directed in character, like he just embodied that role. And spoilers, I mean, you listen to this knowing the spoilers.
Watch the disaster
we warn
first
for spoilers.
before reading this.
They do, right at the end of the film, there's like recreations of the original scenes, and they're almost like unrecognizable. Like there's almost no difference. It's almost like a spot the difference where they're so accurate.
Yeah.
Like they exaggerate a few things where he's like, I did not hit her, and he like exaggerates a not.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, like they could have just redone the whole film and it would have been like, basically
you
the
mentioned that they had done most of it, maybe 75% of the film, and it might be going on.
Only a third. It was about a third of the film they recreated, which is like 30 minutes. So they could put out like a 30-minute.
Which you said might go on to the special features.
Well, I think that James Franco was saying like they recreated a lot of the scenes, and he said like they have enough that they could almost make it like an extra. Although
another movie.
People don't buy DVDs anymore or Blu-rays, or do they?
Oh, I would
tune
for
in later. Oh. Yeah,
we'll do a Disaster Artist Blu-ray review well if you want. Click like, subscribe if you'd like to see more content.
Like here. Yeah, I go into my YouTube.
That's what YouTubers sound like?
Yeah, in my mind.
Oh my gosh. Like,
comment, subscribe.
I don't actually have anything negative
about
the film, except that it ended.
Oh,
really,
wow.
I loved this film. It was so positive and uplifting. There's nothing really that I disliked. I never found myself bored. The pacing was really good.
Yeah. I thought
it was really it was tight.
Yeah, and this is what, I think I've mentioned this like a few times before, more like with superhero films and stuff. 2 hours for a film is too long.
Yes,
And like some films that go for like 2.5 hours, like the Transformers and...
Well, The Last Jedi is going to go for 150 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay,
yep.
But a film, that's different. We'll talk about that on another day. That's for another episode. But I think some films just need to be tight. Like especially if it's like a comedy, like a quirky comedy like this was, it needs to be no more than 90 minutes. Because like... that kind of like rhythm gets going and it tires pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what like Judd Apatow, who actually was in this as well, happens. He falls in that trap a lot of directing comedy films that go for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
There's that one like This Is 40. It's like Jason Segel or whatever. Oh. And it sort of flopped a bit because it was over 2 hours and or like Knocked Up it just keeps going on and on.
Think of comedy as like, you think either like an episode of MASH, The Simpsons, or like stand-up comedy. It's really quick.
That's right,
and that's the point. If you put comedy around a full-length movie, and try and pattern it out, it doesn't that's have the same effect.
Yeah, drama you can do it, and like with superhero movies, you can always have like other characters and backstories and fight scenes. But with comedy, you've just got to get the pacing. You got to get the stuff out. You can't just fill it in.
Like Grown Ups, for example, is a film where they drive off, and there's all this story and backstory for all these stupid characters.
Refer to the Adam Sandler episode.
People don't care about
26.
That. But you look at another movie like Airplane.
Yeah.
Which is like
which
one
is
of the
packed full of
funniest.
Jokes. Yeah.
But that's a short film.
Yes.
And it's like the Disaster Artist where it's just A to B. It's just nice. It's not stretched out any longer than it has to be.
No. If anything, they've cut more.
Really simple to follow.
They've cut it out.
But when you have movies that go for 2 hours, which are a comedy, there's too much time between jokes.
Oh, absolutely.
People kind of get like, am I watching like a drama? Am I watching like a comedy?
Yeah, and that's actually one thing that you just mentioned before that I agreed with as well, is I didn't realize how emotional the film was going to be.
Yes.
Like there was a few moments that were genuinely like, this is like a great emotional moment.
I felt sad for
because
Tommy.
like where Tommy, especially at the end when everyone's laughing at his film and he like walks out and he realizes that because what he wanted to make a Tennessee Williams style drama, like A Streetcar Named Desire. Which, have you seen that film?
No, I haven't.
But you know the story though. It's like he's sort of like working.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, it's like Marlon Brando. It's like a serious drama, and he's in love with this girl, and and he's abusive and that, and he can't. Like that's how the film starts with Tommy reenacting the scene from Streetcar Named Desire with the Stella, but he's just yelling Stella and like writhing around on the floor and stuff. Yeah. Like he just can't get. He doesn't get like the undertones of how to do a drama properly.
No,
and that's
it's
what
like
turned the film into a comedy.
It's like he's taking just the most memorable quotes and then turning that into a film.
Yeah, like he did.
That's all it is.
Yeah, like with the James Dean, You're Tearing Me Apart, which was in I've gone blank. Rebel Without a Cause.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
We need to have like a classic film night.
We can have a James Dean night. He only did a couple of films, so
yeah. Yeah, and he did like 3 films, and that's what.
Knock it out in the night.
So I think Tommy Wiseau. The interesting thing that James Franco captured is that Tommy Wiseau sees himself as this like all-American hero. Because there's also the scene with Bob Odenkirk.
Yes.
The acting teacher says, "Why don't you play a villain? Why don't you be like a Frankenstein or a Dracula vampire?" And he's like, "No, I'm a hero." Like he refused to accept that he could actually do well.
It's like he's just grown up on films where there's just one protagonist who's just a hero.
Yeah,
like Indiana Jones or Gremlins or James Dean.
Yes,
he hasn't been brought up on any horrors, or anything like that.
No, he loves
just pure. I'm the hero. Everything's about me.
Yeah, and then I love the girl.
I have to get the girl, and maybe he was trying to be a little bit edgy and try and make himself the victim in the room.
Yeah.
And he wanted to, like, he's the hero still, and he doesn't do anything wrong in the film, even though he's a psychopath. But, create that little bit of drama where he said, all right, well, now the hero has to go through something. Oh, all right, we'll have his best friend cheat on him, which he's probably copied from,
or, there's
any other film,
thing
any
where,
other
like,
drama.
Where people, there's even the scene in The Disaster Artist where they're talking about what like Lisa represents in the film, and how June Diane Raphael, who plays the Michelle character, but she's as the actress Robin Paris. There's so many layers. There's like the character, then the actress, and then the actress playing that thing. And then she says that Lisa represents the universe. That like Tommy just feels like he's been screwed over by the universe. And that's what, and like, so Lisa's not an individual woman that's like screwed over like Tommy in the past, but he writes this character in that like he's just a victim of everyone being mean to him and stuff. And now that's kind of continued on because he still gets mocked like at screenings and stuff, but he's kind of like accepted it. Like he's sort of taken on the character of Johnny. Yeah,
and that's what that's why I don't really, because you'll see if you look at a interview with Tommy on Jimmy Kimmel. We watched it before.
Yes, yeah.
He's very nervous, and I think he's trying to be that character again.
That's
like
right.
He's laughing. He's doing his like he's doing that laughter a lot more. He's trying to be all wacky and spontaneous.
There's a theory that laugh might
comes up so awkward.
There's a theory. I think it was like Screen Junkies when they reviewed Disaster Artist. They said maybe it's a nervous tick. Like maybe that, like, because he does that when he sort of gets nervous and doesn't know what to say. Because you remember there's a scene in the room where Mark's like, I knew a girl who was like, she was seeing 12 guys at once. And one guy found out he beat her up so bad she ended up in a hospital on Guerrero Street.
Yeah.
He's like, what a story, Mark.
Yes,
like
beautiful.
It's sort of like a filler. It's kind of like what LOL has become. People say LOL now. Or even haha on like social media text. It's kind of just filling this silence.
Yeah.
It's like acknowledging.
It's a safe response for anything.
Yeah, it's like a gap filler. And I think for Tommy that is just like you see him in interviews and he just laughs at really inappropriate times. Because I remember there was a question, he did like a live stream interview.
Yeah.
And they're like, what happens to Lisa after the room? And he's like, oh, she'll probably commit suicide. Like it's such a dark thing to laugh about.
Yeah.
I think he just does it nervously. The other thing I wanted to say, what makes a Disaster Artist so watchable is like all the Easter eggs of like casting. So you've got James Franco and Dave Franco.
Of course.
As Tommy and Greg. Brothers in real
life.
And it's the first film they've been in together.
Really?
You've got They've never done a project together. No, and this is what they were saying.
He wasn't in like This Is the End or anything like that, or
no? Dave Franco wasn't in that. No.
Wow.
I don't think so. No, pretty sure he wasn't.
Interesting.
And then Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Is in as Sandy, who's like the script supervisor. And if you've ever seen The Room, you know the script. There's no supervising that.
Seth Rogen was my favorite part.
Oh, he's so good in it.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, because he's it's like a supporting role, but he does like the perfect job of like capturing that character of the insanity. Because as you watch The Room, you're thinking the people made in this, how did they
endure it?
But
how?
They always, a lot of the times they did question Tommy. They're like, should we do it this way? Can't we do it this way? Like, especially with it's a sex scene where he's like having sex with a belly button.
Yeah.
They're like, we should do it another way. And Tommy would just override them or threaten to fire them.
Constantly.
Or he would fire them
if
they challenged him. So that's how you know it was just... I was
going to say, who was because when I think of Seth Rogen, I think of the other character that was with him all the time.
Oh, that's Paul Scheer. He plays Randy.
He was great as well.
Yeah.
Really good.
And that was meant to be the director of photography.
Yes.
And Paul Scheer hosts the How Did This Get Made podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts about
shout-outs.
Bad movies. Oh, I'll have him any day. Yeah.
Shout-outs. Come feel free to join us whenever you'd like.
Oh wow, yeah.
Plenty of spots.
I wish. Then Alison Brie plays his girlfriend, Greg's girlfriend.
Yep. They're married in real life, I believe.
They are a real life couple. Alison Brie from Community.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Amber, the girlfriend in see, that's the thing. Like, she had a kind of a bigger role in the book where she just hated Tommy and wanted Greg to like.
Well, we didn't really get to see a lot of that. It was more they just drop it on him. He gets angry, and then it just kind of. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no confrontation between her and Tommy, or her talking to Greg to try and convince him a lot.
Well, Tommy and Greg have such a weird relationship in real life. Like they've got a movie coming out called Best Friends, and the R is in like brackets, so I think it's like Best Fiends or Best Friends.
Wow.
And Tommy plays like a mortician, like an undertaker who finds Greg, and Greg's like a hitchhiker, and they go on this weird adventure. Apparently Paul Shear's in that as well as the other main character. But just a weird fact. But like the poster is like, it looks like a gay romance scene. They're just facing each other. Like, it's the weirdest. And and the thing is, Greg Sestero wrote that. Tommy did not write or direct it or produce it. Tommy had no involvement other than being the actor.
It's got a good score on IMDb.
Remember in the Q&A, Greg said he made that film as sort of feeling guilty for Tommy. Like, he wanted to like work on him with a project. So they did like a 15-year follow-up to The Room, because it's going to come out in 2018, which is like 15 years on.
Wait, what?
Well, 2003, The Room came out.
Wait.
What?
I haven't heard this.
He said that in the Q&A.
Did he?
That he wrote it. He wrote it for Tommy. Yeah, and he wrote and produced it, and they acted in it together.
A follow-up to The Room.
No. The film Best Friends.
Oh yeah.
Is like it's them. It's him. They haven't worked on anything since that.
Oh,
since The Room. So Greg felt bad, and like because there was a falling out after the book because Tommy hated the book. He said the book only 40% true, but now the film he likes 99.9%, which is based on the book. So,
I thought you meant. I for some reason I thought they were making a sequel to The Room.
No.
Which would be
follow up, as in like them working together.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah,
but
Tommy did say he wants to do a prequel because he couldn't do a sequel because Johnny's dead.
Oh, yeah, that's
at
true.
the end. Yeah, so it has to be a prequel. But
I think it'd be terrible.
No.
Though.
Well, you
can't capture that magic.
This is made up. You've also got Ari Graynor, who plays Juliette Daniel, who plays Lisa in The Room. Mm-hmm. Excellent, great actress.
Yeah.
Perfectly got the role. Josh Hutcherson from the Hunger Games series.
Oh, yeah, it's classic. He
plays Philip Haldeman, who plays Denny.
Enough, I reckon.
Yeah, he could have been in it a bit more, but he just had the best line where he's like, you play a little boy. He's like, I'm 26. Jackie Weaver, who's the Australian actress, she plays Claudette. She plays Carolyn Minot, who is Claudette in the film, who's Lisa's mother, the one who has breast cancer.
Yep. She was great as well.
Then Zac Efron plays Dan Janjigian, who plays Chris R., who's the drug dealer.
Yes, yep. He was funny.
Yeah, he was excellent in it. I didn't even realize it was Zac Efron at first. That's how good it was. Then we got... I'll just go through the list. We got Hannibal Buress, who plays one of the Burns and Sawyer salesmen. Hannibal Buress is the black comedian.
Oh, yeah.
The one who broke the news about Bill Cosby and his stand-up. He was the one who got that whole thing going. Then you got Nathan Fielder, who's from Nathan For You. He plays the psychologist, Peter the psychologist.
Oh, yes, yep.
Oh, God, so many people. Sharon Stone plays Iris Burton, Greg's
agent.
Did
not even recognize her.
Yeah, she's... Melanie Griffith plays the teacher at the start, Jean Shelton. At the very start, where the first scenes, acting class.
Jeez.
Then you've got all three from How Did This Get Made? Paul Scheer, Jason Mantzoukas Jr., and Raphael. Jason plays the other guy from Burns and Sawyer, salesman. So many. We got apparently Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who's better known as McLovin.
Yep.
Plays some guy called Sid. Mentioned before, Bob Odenkirk's in it. Judd Apatow plays one of the film producers that Tommy goes up to and begs for like a role in the restaurant.
Oh, yes.
And he goes, you'll never be famous. The chance is like 1 in a million. And he's like, well, that means it's still possible. And he's like, no, it's not. The other surprise cameo that I just wanted to mention as well, Bryan Cranston is Bryan Cranston.
He is.
And they meet at like a Whole Foods or whatever. And
it's like a little bar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a little, it's like a cafe
something.
thing. And Amber is in his Pilates class and Greg talks to him. And he's like, oh, we could get you a little role as a lumberjack in Malcolm in the Middle. And he goes to Tommy and says, can I have a day, like 1 day spare to do this role? And Tommy's like, no, we got to do production. And so Tommy refuses to let him do it.
Yeah.
And that gets a bit of resentment, which is not actually in the book, and I don't think is actually a thing that happened. But it's just as like a plot device that like Tommy was costing Greg other opportunities to work.
Do you like that though,
that
they included that?
Yeah, because it cut down a lot. it cut down a big part of the book, which is Tommy sabotaging Greg's other areas of Greg's life into one quick little scene.
Okay.
That
and that's all we
the
really
room
need.
was consuming Greg's life. Like, he could not do other things. He couldn't go out on other auditions, could not do other roles because he got himself sucked into working with Tommy.
Yeah.
All the while getting paid, by the way. So Tommy spent $6 million of his own dollars to get this film made. And all the actors were getting paid. So it wasn't like they were doing it for charity. But
just on that note, I loved the scene where Seth Rogen goes to the bank to get the check. And he's like,
yes, that is a classic.
Didn't bounce? It's real?
Yeah, and the bank teller goes, this account is a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
And that is apparently actually happened to him. He went to the bank and the guy told him that.
Really?
Which apparently, it's like confidentiality, whatever.
Wow. But there you go. Because that's always been a big mystery, where the money came from. How did he How did he fund $6 million?
Oh yeah, and it's sort of touched on in the book, but you got to read the book.
Got to read the book.
So we'll just quickly end it up. We'll start finishing up because we might have a special guest coming on our next episode.
Let's just do a quick the budget. The obvious ones.
I'll just say the budget. The budget was $1 million for this. Apparently, the box office. See, I don't even think the box office matters for a film like this. They didn't make it to make money. Like it probably will make money because it's such a cult
it's there
hit.
for the fans. And just to go after the source material.
But I mean, they say like a film's success. Like I've worked out what is considered a successful box office film is if it makes 4 times its budget.
Yeah.
So if it brings in $4 million, it's done its job.
I think it will.
It should easily bring that in.
I think it'll make probably $20 million.
Really?
Yeah.
$20 million on a $1 million budget.
Yeah, I reckon it will.
All right.
I mean, it's still like it's.
Well, I'll say about.
Cult.
I'll hope for about 5. I'll say about 5
Okay.
if you say 20. We're gonna have to give it a few weeks, but we might follow that up. Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting on 96%.
Nice.
So
that's good.
That's
good.
like 4 3/4 stars really, because 4.5 stars is like 90%. And I'd give this film 4.5 stars if I had to like give it a rating. I'd highly recommend it.
I'd give it maybe 4.
Okay. So it loses the
like,
star.
And I don't really know why, but it doesn't feel like a perfect, outstanding masterpiece of a film.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe because it's the source material is The Room.
Yep.
And it's acted well, and the cinematography is a little bit.
It is a bit shaky.
It seems a little bit simple. It's a very simple film.
I think
the way it's directed and filmed.
I'll admit the first few shots are very shaky, and that kind of started giving me a bit of a headache. When there's like it's in the theater, and they're doing their acting class.
Yes.
There's a few shots that actually were making me a bit like, ugh. But it sort of settled down. I don't know why. I don't know if they just did that intentionally at first to make it realize like we're going to film this film a little bit shit to sort of be like, hey, The Room is like
shit.
Filmed average.
So this is going to be shit.
Yeah, I think they sort of like made the cinematography a little bit crappier to.
Well, I haven't seen any
contrast.
because this was directed by James Franco. I haven't seen any.
Oh, was it?
I haven't. Yeah.
No.
I haven't seen any of James Franco's work, so I don't know.
Oh, his personal stuff. Yeah. Neither have I, because he makes so much. He churns so much of it out.
If anyone has any recommendations on any good James Franco films,
well, he does a lot of The Sound and the Fury. William Faulkner. He does a lot of like American novel adaptations.
Okay. Nice and easy.
Yeah, and he did the one with. Oh, I don't know if he directed the one with Jonah Hill, where Jonah Hill's a cop investigating him, and he's like a serial killer. It's like 2015. He kind of has like they always have like every year they have like one big film, and then they just makes a bunch of little ones.
Yeah.
They had like The Interview, and then a whole bunch of small.
Is that 2015? The Interview? I believe it was.
Yeah,
and this is the end
Early
of 2014.
What?
2015. This is the end.
That was 2013.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a good film.
Yeah.
So every 1 or 2 years they'll have a big.
They'll have a big hit that funds all the rest
Seth
of the small
Rogen,
ones,
Jonah Hill, all the boys will be back.
Yeah, all the boys are back.
Would you count this as a big project?
Yeah, this one's massive. This has got a lot of publicity. Yeah. He's been on, and he's gone on all the like Jimmy Kimmel and all the big talk shows to promote it. So most definitely. Any last thoughts? I think he should at least get acknowledged by the Oscars and get a nom. He probably won't win because there's probably better roles.
No.
Probably better.
There'll be bigger and better films, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's the end of the year, and I can't really think of. I think Kamal Nanjiani will get one for The Big Sick, maybe, as an actor. Or maybe that he might get that for writing because that's like such a good script. But Franco at least deserves one for his acting because that was a transformation.
That was
all the makeup and prosthetics and voice and mannerisms, and to direct as well. To get that perfect. Yeah, Yeah. Any last thoughts on The Disaster Artist? So 4 stars, but you recommend it.
I'd recommend it.
If you're a film nerd.
Go and watch it.
Yeah.
Go read the book.
Yeah.
Support it as much as you can.
Yeah.
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the funniest films I've watched this year.
Oh,
if not this year, to be honest. There hasn't been a lot of funny films out this year, so
no,
I can't think of the
not
last.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or anything. So
yeah, no, I laughed a bit at that.
Okay,
but there was no Tommy in that, so
yeah,
it's a special film.
All right, it's a special film for special people.
It's like the Bohemian Rhapsody film coming out, which we've discussed before. It's like a special,
like it's got a niche little audience. Like it's not going to be a super hit, but
it's like it's for those special Freddie Mercury fans. It's like any musical.
Yeah, it is. It's fan service. Yeah.
But no,
very good.
Very good.
Disaster Artist.
Thank you for listening.
Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe
on our OkCupid account.
Oh wow,
LinkedIn.
Sean is looking for
Tinder.
love. That's for another day.
Grindr.
Why Should I Watch is a Skinny White Boy production. For more information, visit www.skinnywhiteboy.com.